What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the SFS channel. My name's Gavin, and today I've got my Week 7 NFL game picks for you guys. Last week I didn't do so hot. I went 6-8. I probably picked too many upset picks, but you can see my record up in the top corner of your screen. I'm 62-30 overall in the season, so still pretty good. Before I get into my picks, make sure you guys go down and hit the subscribe button and turn the bell on so you guys are notified whenever I come out with a new video. If every single one of you guys goes down there and hits subscribe, we can get monetized here on the channel pretty quickly, and I can start doing some pretty cool giveaways for you guys and stuff like that. It's something I'd really like to do. I'd really like to help give back to you guys. Help me help you guys out, and we can get something pretty special started here on the channel. Into my game picks here. Today we've got Thursday Night Football. The Giants are traveling to Philly to take on the Eagles. I'll take Philly in this one, even though they're pretty banged up. I'll take the Eagles 21-20. It'll probably be pretty close just because of all the injuries that Philadelphia is suffering from right now. But I'll take the Eagles to cover by a point in this one, and I think that Philly will take over the top spot in the NFC East by the end of the weekend. Now into the Sunday afternoon games, we got the Steelers traveling to Tennessee to take on the Titans, and I will take Tennessee in this one to remain undefeated. They've looked very sound in every facet of the game. Offense, defense, and special teams has been performing on a high level. Tennessee's defense gives up points, but they're very opportunistic and take the football away from other teams, so I think that they'll ultimately come away the winners of this game. I think it'll be relatively high scoring, probably in the 30s. I'll take Tennessee in this one, 31-28. Another NFC East matchup, we've got the Cowboys traveling to take on the Washington football team. I actually think the Washington football team is going to win this game. I've been picking them for a few weeks now. I've actually picked them way more than I ever expected to because that defense is actually pretty decent. I think Washington has a chance to upset the Cowboys here, who are in first place currently in the NFC East, but obviously that Dak Prescott injury really took that team down a notch, and they're really struggling. It looks like there's a lot of dysfunction in their locker room. Guys are starting to speak out against the coaching staff, so I'll take Washington. I actually think, as weird as this sounds, they are the more sound organization and are the better managed team, so I'll take Washington in a low-scoring 21-20 victory over Dallas. Buffalo traveling to take on the Jets. I'll take Buffalo to easily beat the Jets in this one. The Jets are a terrible football team, 0-6. They're going to be 0-7. I'll take Buffalo 30-7. This team is just way too good. The Jets are outmatched on every position on the field. To be quite honest, they really only have 2 or 3 players who are really making an impact on their team right now. So the Bills will win this one easily. It's not going to be a fun game to watch if you're a Jets fan. Carolina traveling to the Superdome to play the Saints. I'll take the Panthers in this one by a point, 27-26. Carolina's only 500, but they've actually really impressed me this season. They've taken some decent teams to the wire. They've even upset the Cardinals, which I thought was a very impressive win for them. I think they look really good on offense. Their offensive scheme with Matt Rule and Teddy Bridgewater has been better than I expected. Robbie Anderson has been a nice bright spot. And I think that between him and DJ Moore, they're going to hit a couple of nice deep balls over the top on the Saints defense. And ultimately, I think they're going to get a last-second win by a field goal in this one. Green Bay Packers are taking on the Texans this week. I'll take the Packers to bounce back against Houston. I'll take the Packers by a touchdown against Deshaun Watson. I think that the Texans look better without Bill O'Brien as their head coach or being involved in that organization. But I think the Packers, coming off such an ugly loss, will be refocused. They'll be ready to go, and they will come and play a sound football game. They're going to be able to run the football and throw all over the Texans, so I don't see that Houston really has a chance to stop Green Bay in this one. Cleveland taking on Joe Burrow's Bengals. I'll actually take a score flip from the first time these teams played this season. I'll take the Bengals 35 over the Browns 30. I think that Cleveland is probably going to not rally back from that terrible loss they had last week to Pittsburgh. I think that this team has a little bit too much emotional drama on it between Odell Beckham, Baker Mayfield. They've got too many guys, Myles Garrett, that are causing dysfunction or are potentially capable of causing dysfunction for that team. I think that ultimately that loss is going to hold them down, and Joe Burrow's improved team and offense will be able to prevail in this game. Lions-Falcons, this is actually a really interesting game for me. I'm actually going to take the Falcons in this one, 30-28 over Detroit. That team looked entirely different after Dan Quinn left last week. They absolutely threw the ball all over Minnesota. They dominated them from the first snap of the game to the last. The Vikings really didn't do anything until classic Kirk Cousins comes back and scores some points in garbage time. But the Falcons, I think, are honestly the better team against the Lions in this one. I think that Matt Ryan has his way with the Detroit secondary, and they're able to pick up a win by a narrow margin. Seahawks traveling to Glendale, Arizona to play the Cardinals. I'll take Seattle in this one by a narrow margin of 2 points, 30-28. This game's going to be a shootout. Lots of points are going to be scored here. Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson are going to go at it, and they're going to hang points on the board all game long. I think that ultimately Russell Wilson and that offense are just a touch better than the Cardinals offense, so that's what's going to be the difference in this game, because neither defense is going to be able to have a say in this game, I don't think, from a fantasy standpoint, because obviously that is the center point of this channel. Start your Seahawks and your Cardinals this week. They're going to put up big numbers for your fantasy lineups, and you guys will be satisfied when the week is over. Jags playing the Chargers. These are actually two teams who I think are better than the records that they have in front of their team's logo, but I think that the Chargers will come out on top in this game. I think both of these teams have played very well this season. I think that the Chargers were expected to win some more games, but they've lost some close ones. They took Kansas City down to the wire. Jacksonville's played some nice close games as well. They had kind of an ugly last 2 weeks, but other than that, Gardner Minshew has actually been keeping up fairly well, and that team has been producing better than expected. But I think that these are two teams that are probably playing for pride. I think the Chargers probably had aspirations of going to the playoffs this season, but those are looking to be narrow hopes now that they are 1-4. I'll take the Chargers 24-23 in this game. I think that ultimately just the talent on the roster of the Chargers is what's going to be the difference in this game. 49ers traveling to Foxborough to play the Pats. I think this is a very interesting game. These are two teams who have had some adversity so far this season. This is probably the first time in my lifetime that the Pats have been under 500 in Week 7. I think that obviously some of that can be drawn to the fact that the Pats had to miss some games because of COVID, and their schedule got jumbled up a little bit. And then obviously the 49ers at 500, they're a better than 500 team, but they've had so many injuries, obviously losing Garoppolo, Mostert, Nick Bosa, Solomon Thomas, all of these key contributors, Tevin Coleman, all these guys that went down with injury is clearly holding that team back a little bit, but the coaching staff is still very good. I think that they've still got some nice personnel on that team. I'll actually take the Pats to win this one. I just can't see them going 2-4 to go into Week 8. It's hard for me to say that the 49ers will go 3-4 as well, but I'll take the Pats in this one by a point. Kansas City traveling to Denver to play the Broncos. I think this is an easy pick for me to say the Chiefs will win this one. Obviously, the Denver Broncos just had that big win last week, but I think Kansas City and Pat Mahomes are too much for this team to handle, especially considering the injuries that the Broncos have faced on the defensive side of the ball, as well as losing some guys on offense as well. So I think that Kansas City wins this game by 4. Division games are usually close, so I'll take the Broncos to stay relatively close, but the Chiefs will win this one 24-20. Tom Brady and the Bucs traveling to play Derek Carr and the Raiders. I'll take Tom Brady to extend the winning streak to 2 games against the Las Vegas Raiders. I think that the Bucs are too good from top to bottom on their roster, and the Raiders just had a huge COVID case at left tackle for Trent Brown, and the entire offensive line is being asked to quarantine right now for Oakland, so they could be potentially without their starting 5 guys on the offensive line, which would be terrible news for the Raiders, especially with that Bucs pass rush and defensive front 7. I don't know how you stop those guys if you have to go to your second stringer at every single position, especially this late in the season. So I think that the Raiders have just too much adversity stacked up against them this week, and you really can't expect them or fault them for losing this game. Last game of the week here, we've got Chicago playing the Los Angeles Rams. Chicago's been a team that has crushed my record predictions so far. I've picked against them every single week so far this year. I just do not believe in the Bears. I've been wrong all but 1 week when they lost, but this time the Rams are a very good football team. I could see the Rams easily taking this one. I'll take them in a close game though, 27-23, but I think that LA is just too much to handle for Chicago from coaching staff to personnel. I think Chicago is undermatched in this game, especially being on the road. I think there's too many things going against the Bears in this game to pick up the win in this one, but we'll see if Chicago will add another loss to my record predictions this season. Those are my Week 7 NFL game predictions for this week's NFL action. Make sure to comment your favorite team down below, and if you think they're going to pick up the win this week against their opponent. Remember to hit the subscribe button and stick around the channel for more fantasy football content and NFL game predictions. If you guys have any fantasy questions, feel free to put those down in the comment section below as well, and I will get back to all of you guys on that. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.